Meet Dave of Delusions of Grandeur, actor, producer, and director of films like Tales of the Forgotten. He has come to assemble a team of freaks, geeks, and even worse, film nerds, to discuss films ranging from mainstream to downright crazy. There is Tammy, car enthusiast, and Dave's fiance, Dustin, reptile expert and overall horror collector, Jake, environmentalist and fine art film critic, and finally Brandon, a therapist with a love of film that can only be seen as insanity. Together under Dave's leadership, they are inside movies galore. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
Alrighty, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Inside Movies Galore. I am one of your hosts, but today we are returning to our theme of When Machines Go Rogue. And I decided to put forward a movie and subject you guys to it called The Mortal Engines, which is directed by, I believe it's directed by Christian Rivers, who was kind of an understudy under Peter Jackson at the time in his special effects department. And there was a whole fiasco that went down behind production of this movie. Apparently, Peter Jackson had written the screenplay with two of his other cast members of The Lord of the Rings, and Guillermo del Toro was set to direct the Hobbit trilogy, but then I'm trying to remember whether he was fired or he just quit the projects. But there was a whole thing that went down, and Peter Jackson had to step up to the plate and direct the trilogy that he did not want to direct, and he also didn't want to separate them into three different movies. I remember that much, but you know how Hollywood acted with that. But he gave this movie over to his special effects dude. Let me see if I can't bring up the IMDb here. Mortal Engines movie. Okay. And yes, Christian Rivers is his name. And of course, you still have the writers of Fran Welsh and Philippa Boyens with Peter Jackson being the writers. And the film stars Hera Hilmar, Robert Sheehan, Hugo Weaving, among others. The film was filmed in 2018. And this is what IMDb says about the movie. In a post-apocalyptic world where cities ride on wheels and consume each other to survive, two people meet in London and try to stop a conspiracy. Which isn't exactly the case, but is exactly what IMDb says. It says it's all about. And IMDb gives it actually a 6.1 out of 10. So that's actually pretty darn good for IMDb. So it's not that it was a bad movie. I think a lot of it was timing. how many blockbusters were coming out around the time, and just the fact that it was a project that was started but then stopped and picked up by another guy, and it just got bad PR, you know.
Well, and
So
also there was a little bit of fatigue for this
Yeah.
movie. That Peter Jackson kind of helped start that boom with the Lord of the Rings, and as you said, he was kind of voted into doing a 3-part Hobbit trilogy. But between with the more dystopian angle and which the Hunger Games really kicked into high gear, and this one kind of has both the fantasy and the dystopia, but more the dystopia. I think a lot of people, and I believe I should know this better than y'all do because of my job, but I want to say this is a YA novel series.
It is.
So there have been so many YA dystopian novel to film adaptations. Most of them crashed and burned. So it's not surprising if this one got a weak reception, but
no, it's not. But it was one that I had paid attention to, and I actually seemed to like more than other people at the time, and it just it stuck out in my mind, and okay, no, these machines are not all like machines that are trying to. I've never known another world like this except for that which is in Japanese animation.
Yeah.
Because there are definitely some Japanese animations that have to do with steampunk engines and worlds that are built exactly like this. So, to me, seeing it in a live action type thing like that, this, and plus you got to think about the character Shrive, which he is kind of a a sentient robot that is introduced in this movie, which is a character from the novels. But
I
other
could
than that,
I could 100% see this as an anime. I think that would be a great format to tackle if they wanted to go back and try to do the whole series. That would be a great format.
yeah, I could see it going that way. But in any case, let's go around the room and see what y'all think about the movie, and then we'll come back to what I think. Since you were already speaking, Jake, why don't you go ahead? Was this the first time watch for you?
It was indeed. I have. This one's been sort of on my radar. Like, I've certainly was aware of the movie. I think I was aware of Peter Jackson's involvement, although I think I'd kind of forgotten about that. And like I said, I see the book, I see the series frequently, and it's a catchy title, so it stuck in my brain. I was like, "Oh, this seems interesting." And that kind of image that we have there of Hester with the mask on her face has become kind of an iconic image, you might say. So it was on the radar, and I appreciate finally having a chance to look at this movie. I still will definitely dispute its appropriateness for this month's theme, but it does have a lot of machines in it, and there are a lot of attacks. And it's I thought it was very interesting. It's very well done. It is slightly underwhelming, and especially if one looks at it as a Peter Jackson project. Also, my understanding is that they did change some things from the novels, and I bet if I was a fan of the books, I probably would have come in nitpicking the changes. So I'll bet a lot of people did that. Not having read the books and coming to it almost blind, I thought it was very interesting and very relatively entertaining. They did a really good job, I think, with the world building here. I think they did visually, it's very impressive. And we'll get into that, I'm sure, as we go. It is interesting that our main villain, it's kind of like, I kind of joked on the chat. I was like, important movie hack, never trust Hugo Weaving. If Hugo Weaving's in your movie, you know he's probably the villain. And even in the rare instance where he's not, like in his previous collaboration with Peter Jackson, The Lord of the Rings, he's not the villain there, but he's still a dick. You know? Here he actually comes across as a fairly likable dude, but he tips his hand early, and from there on, you know, like, this guy's no good. And I was very disappointed at the underuse of Stephen Lang. I think he could have been used much more effectively as Shrike. But he still did it. It was an effective character. It could have been much more effective. Most of the rest of the cast I wasn't familiar with, but they all did good with their roles. Yeah, overall, I liked it. I'm glad I got to see it finally. I'm a little more curious about the books now. I don't know when I'll ever have time to get to them, but I'm a little more curious.
Okay. Heading over to you, Tammy. What were your thoughts on this movie, and was this a first-time watch for you?
I think we watched it once before.
Yep. In fact, you're the one who actually first saw the trailers for this, and made me curious about it. So
I thought it was interesting, and all the machines and stuff that were in it were neat, and their design and everything, and how they run, and the whole concept of that like you said, that each machine is like a whole city. It's just weird, to think of, that this machine moving around is a whole city, But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. So
okay. Is that pretty much it then for your first impressions then?
yeah, for now.
Okay, heading over to you, Brandon. What were your thoughts on this? Was this a first-time watch for you?
This was a first-time watch. I'd heard of it, but I kind of lumped it in with, all the others. Though, when I dived a little bit into the history of this, I felt bad for it, really, because I felt like it didn't get the chance it should have. Because, Jake had talked a little bit about this, because, in a way, this started with Lord of the Rings. But if I'm going to be fair, where this really started would be Twilight and the Hunger Games. Whereas you take these YA novels with strong female protagonists, in many cases set in dystopian futures. Well, I think that the world of Twilight's dystopian for other reasons. But as far as but really the Hunger Games itself, this was a part of that whole Hunger Games effect where they wanted dystopian worlds from YA novels with strong female leads. Hunger Games, Maze Runners, Divergent.
Yeah.
Mortal Instruments, City of Bones,
which only got it one up.
You know, all that kind of happened from 2008 to 2014, where it got so oversaturated that people just got tired of it and left. Now, if this had actually come out back when it was supposed to come out and didn't get delayed fully, it may have had a chance to get like a trilogy or quadrilogy, as these movies are of the like to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it came out, but it decided, because of all the delays, it ended up coming out in 2018, where really these types of movies, these YA novel, dystopian, female-led features, had kind of lost the public attention and ended up still basking in the burnout. Then it came out in the middle of December versus some pretty strong competition that came not just during the week of, but afterwards as well. I don't remember which, but I know there were some pretty big hitters that came in December 2018. And then on top of that, the movie cost a fortune budget-wise, which did not bode well because the returns were not nearly as good. So all those things there, it's kind of sad, really, a sad story overall. Movie itself was fun, enjoyable enough. Nothing I'm like going, I need to go buy a copy for my collection for, but one that, was decent enough. I have my own thoughts about the villain. I thought that there was a little bit of confusion in the directing, maybe, or something, because certain parts were understated, which Jake had already touched on. And I do feel like the villain, I felt like he kept trying to go back and forth with being a kind of a misunderstood villain that wants to do good, but it's good intentions, but going down the bad road, versus I am just freaking evil. Screw you all.
The IMDb says that in the book he was more of a pawn, and that they changed it up for the movie. So it could be that maybe some of that confusion was in the process of trying to shift him more into the villain role. Maybe they didn't quite get the balance right.
Because I felt like they wanted multiple things for him, but the vision wasn't quite clear for him.
Yeah.
So he was cycling a lot between somebody that might be kind of likable and understandable as to where he's coming from, versus I am just freaking evil. Because there were definitely some of those moments too.
Yeah.
So
he kind of loses it at the end.
But like I said, there's a lot of neatness of it. I like the setting. I think that's cool. My favorite character in this, I'll talk about when we get to favorite characters. But I do say that, yes, we could say that there is a Machines Gone Rogue angle if you count the cyborg in this, because he freaking goes Terminator. And as we know, Terminators are definitely Machines Gone Rogue.
Yeah.
Well, and Tammy at the time did not specify whether people controlling them while making them go rogue could be a playing factor either. So I feel like there's an angle there too. So
war never changes.
See, I hear machines go rogue. I hear machines do their thing independent of humans.
That's what I had in mind too.
Well, I get that. And I know that was the angle that she was going for. But it wasn't entirely specified.
Well,
so
we're here. We do have a machine that goes rogue. I consider the cyborg assassin thing a machine that goes rogue. So we can use that.
Okay.
If nothing else, we have a lot of machines and a lot of roads.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
But that is all I have to say about that. Like I say, I enjoyed it well enough. It was a good enough watch. I may watch it again one day, but I don't feel like it's one that I need to have in the collection. But keep in mind, I'm a lot more. But maybe now, 10 years ago, I probably. Well, no, 10 years ago, this movie wasn't going to be out, so I probably wouldn't have worried about it. Okay. When this movie came out, I might have considered putting it in my collection after watching it today. But nowadays, now that I'm a lot more picky about what goes into the collection, it probably wouldn't quite make the cut. Indeed.
Okay. And like I said, there's a lot of production history behind this movie. I remember liking the trailers enough to when I saw a copy of it out there for $10, I picked it up, and then we watched it when it was on my copy. I do believe. If not seeing it on a streaming service or something like that, but first, but I enjoyed it for what it is, and no, I didn't go to the theaters to see it, but I remembered it enough, and remembered the machines being, to me, even though most of the machines, in fact, I'm sure all of the machines were mostly CGI'd. I feel like there was an element to bring to the table for this theme in this movie. So, that being said, let us go into the plot line. So, of course, this is based on a book series. Let's see. Believe it shared exactly what. Let's see. Gonna. Who wrote the Mortal Engine?
It's what's his face? Philip Reeve.
Okay, Philip Reeve wrote the series, and I think another thing that played into the factor of this movie not, making the blockbuster cut was the fact that it was not a whole well-known series at the time that it was starting to be made.
Ooh. Okay, so you were talking about this, not someone mentioned about how it was very expensive. I think Brandon did. I'm looking at this. According to IMDb, it had $100 million budget, and its worldwide gross was $83 million.
Yep.
That's a big loss.
Yeah.
It's like, actually, its US and Canada gross was less than $1 million more than the whole budget for last week's movie.
Actually, that's one of the things that they said about, like, with Twilight, which I've watched a couple of videos about this, about one of the reasons Twilight had a similar concept to it is the fact that it was, YA novels,
Right.
at a time where we're starting to look at YA novels as something big to translate. But the difference between this and Twilight is that they could do Twilight relatively on the cheap comparatively.
Yeah.
And then by the time they started putting money into it, well, they'd already built enough that you knew that you were going to get a decent return on it.
This is true. This one, like I said, they did a good job with the world building, but you got some serious world building here.
The way I feel about this movie, the more I think about it, is the way I feel about Tombstone, where the Tombstone movie ultimately it was technically directed by the director, but there was I do believe that a lot of the reason why it got finished and made was because the director took a leave of absence, and the lead actor took up most of the the director moments, except he let the director that originally had named to the movie take the credit. Now, the reason why I brought that up is because Peter Jackson started this, and he just so happened to let his special effects guy step in and take the credit and direct it for him. So, I don't know if you guys get that comparison, but to me, it's like it had a vision already set down. It's just Christian Rivers took it with his own vision. So I don't know whether that was good or bad for this. But anyways, let's get more into the plot line. So we have so we have a character in here that apparently he works for a museum for this dystopian world that apparently the world was made uninhabitable, and the survivors that were left on this apparent Earth were spread out into various cities, and one of them just so happened to be London.
Well, we should probably note that this takes place roughly 1,100 years in the future, or something like that.
Yeah. If you're going by the Twinkie that was 1,000 years old, angle.
Right? Which I fully believe that 1,000-year-old Twinkie would still be
edible.
In fact, one of them, I think Hester, makes the comment, and I thought it was kind of hilarious and kind of disturbing for how accurate it probably is, that the food of the ancients was indestructible. It's like it's so loaded with preservatives, it's still good.
And if you realize in the museum there were minion statues.
Yes, they called them what did they call them? The ancient American gods.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought that was great.
I thought that was great too. But no matter what, the young man that we meet, who is kind of an unknown actor at this time. Let me pull up IMDb again, so that I can reference his name.
It is called Tom.
Yeah, his name is Tom Natsworthy, and that is Robert Sheehan.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of like a custodian of this museum. He's kind of like a lower level guy, and in fact, he's apparently showing off his items of ancientality or ancients, because he's a collector of ancient history or historical objects.
He's definitely not a custodian. Like, I got the impression that he's actually he's obviously not the museum director, and he's obviously
okay. He's a low-level curator.
Yeah,
the whole like London. What was it? The London Museum.
Yeah, the London Museum. Yeah.
The one where they. I mean, if you think about it, that whole museum has always been about like. Taking whatever they can and using that as their artifacts, like the Louvre.
Yeah. Well, I mean, London Museum is well known for being a repository for history. You know,
most of it taken from other nations.
yeah. No, I didn't say it was always it wasn't always acquired legally or appropriately, but
Thanks, Indiana Jones.
Right? It should be in a museum.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
So should you.
I came so close to actually seeing the real one, but when we went to London, it was during a national holiday there. So kids from all over the UK were lined up with their families at that museum, and the line was literally around the block. It still irks me I think we would have probably come back to it had we not been like really, really sick on our return to the UK. But yeah, that is one major reason that I have to go back to London.
Right. So before we even get to that, though, we should note that we're introduced to Hester via a much smaller mobile town, really, that finds itself in London sights and finds itself being attacked by,
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a flashback, back, but without exactly telling us exactly what's going on. That we see of Hester, but we are narrated into this world.
It's a way of introducing the world while still maintaining the current events.
Right.
It's hard to say whether she's on there because she's trying to help them, or really she's trying to get into London. Which is later revealed as we go.
Yeah. She later says she has spent 6 months trying to get in there now that she's figured out where she needs to go. Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. She is our Inigo of the movie.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when I was mentioning the whole like dystopian world with strong female lead caricature, which there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself. I do think that it's a trope that's overly used. But then again, it's been something but it's not a new trope, because I watched, not long after watching this, I rewatched Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
Oh yeah.
Because Kim has wanted to go through the Ghibli film, so I was like, we'll start at the beginning.
Yeah.
And
at the beginning.
And and that's a slight tick before this whole YA to movie trend hit. So just a slight.
Oh yeah. I mean, those kind of stories have been around for a long time, but they do, when something hits, people tend to jump on the bandwagon.
But we do and are introduced to Hester Shaw, although we don't know exactly her name, as she is going through and being scanned into London.
Mm-hmm.
But we also meet our Hugo Weaving character.
Mm-hmm.
As well, because he's kind of in a battle, and it seems like he is speaking to a general of some sort, and they seem to be getting the brunt of a battle, and one of them believes in the old rules of things, and as we learn more about Thaddeus Valentine, we learn that he is an archaeologist of sorts, and that he believes in
Thaddeus, our Weaving character.
Correct. He believes in some new ideals, which I'm not even sure if we entirely get what his new ideals are all about at the end of everything. At least in this movie, they are always suggested towards or about, but you don't entirely get the broader picture entirely.
One thing you do get, you talked about the old guard. Magnus Chrome is the guy who's technically in charge, and he's the one that Thaddeus keeps calling, like, basically saying he's a relic and all that stuff. Basically, London, I guess, has recently gone onto the European continent, and they are not doing well. They are not getting what they need. And theoretically, Valentine thinks he has the answer, and, you know.
Well, I mean, yeah, the idea of these cities is that they go around, they eat up smaller towns, take into their resources and their population, and that's how they grow as civilizations, which is an interesting.
They grow by merging their technologies together,
or at least grinding up the stuff for scrap.
Yeah, take what they can.
I mean, as it is, you see how Tom jumps into the dumpster diving for a toaster.
Well, I mean, again, before they end up basically scrapping it all, the people at the museum are like, we need to see if we can find something there. And one of the things that he picks up is one of these little fusion spark plug dealies, which is immediately snapped up. And you see a little bit of a hint from our main, from a little bit of exposition there. Then the Department of Engineering had come in there and raided the museum of all those parts.
Yeah. So we kind of skipped our introduction to Catherine Valentine, Thaddeus's daughter, who Tom is giving a tour in the museum while her father is running down this other town. And Tom, there's this really priggish jerk of a dude. I think it's Herbert Melephant, I think was the character. I'm looking here. He looks like the kind of guy whose face you'd want to punch. He kind of gets Tom assigned to going down to pick through what just came in. Catherine ends up helping him because they're actually pretty good friends. And being Thaddeus's daughter, she can go where she needs to go when she wants to.
Yeah.
Correct.
And
keep in mind, beforehand, they were in one of the secret areas that they have in the museum.
Yeah.
And he was showing her something ancient that they found, which, again, more exposition of back during the war times, where you have the one of the ancient weapons before this whole apocalypse, and watching the city explode with the weaponry.
Well, and also he showed her a stockpile of stuff that he had squirreled away that he wants to literally throw into the nearest bog when they get a chance.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, this stuff is too dangerous. Yeah. And we also see a map. We see a modern map. And she looks at it and goes, it's weird to think it once looked like that, you know. Which you find out that these weapons were so destructive, they changed the geography of the planet.
Well, I mean, it's interesting how a lot of these tend to go that way. I mean, when I'm watching Nausicaa, one of the things they talk about is like the 5 days of fire.
Yeah.
Which is what leads to the toxic jungles and the mutant bugs and so on, with these iron giants from hell going through and destroying things from this huge world war, essentially. So, I mean, I guess it's a lot of these are that similarity, you know.
Well, and while she was ferreting him to a faster route to get to where Tom needs to go to be part of that scavenging that he's been low-leveled into. uh, uh, because of that guy, they kind of bump into another character who has also been low leveled into what he's been doing, and ultimately uh, ends up having ends up kind of becoming Valentine, young Miss Valentine's companion.
You talking
Well,
Davis?
yeah.
Does anyone know if they tried to do multiple books into this movie, or were they just doing one book?
I think it was just the one book, but I think that from what I was reading, I think they did, like you do any book to screen adaptation, they kind of cut a lot of plot lines, they kind of streamlined some characters. Apparently,
Because there were a lot of characters that were picked up and dropped near immediately, or you see them briefly or never again. Even Valentine, even the daughter, you feel like you're going to get to know her more, but as soon as this part ends, then she's out of it until the end of the movie.
I was going to say, I think from what I understand, a lot of the characters who were introduced are characters who were introduced in the first book but played bigger roles later. You know,
Correct.
That, which would make a lot of sense. And it would make sense if they thought there might be another movie to go ahead and give them that intro. You know.
Well, I mean, shoot, one of the main characters, though, the guy we were talking about, like the dude who is in it for most of the movie, and I can't think of his name. What is his name?
Tom?
Yeah, I mean, he barely has. I mean, after you get him introduced for a while, I feel like he's underused all the heck throughout the rest of the movie. I mean, which is kind of sad.
I mean, you barely get to see him fall in love with the main girl, which supposedly which that's part of the plot line is what stops Shrive, the cyborg Shriver or whatever.
Yeah.
From actually killing her off or whatnot. Which
Well, I also wish
I actually do like what backstory they give him and her together.
Oh yeah, I think they did good with that.
There's a lot more I wish I saw more elaboration on, but there's a lot of little pieces that look interesting, and I wish that they would dwell on it more. But they had to move so fast to these other things that they just had to kind of leave stuff behind.
Yeah,
that's why, as far as the action goes, you know what? There's another movie that kind of reminds me of this that didn't do too well, and I think it was Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow.
I like
that one.
But yeah, you're right. That one got a lot of hype when it came out, and it did not do much for the hype.
No. The one that's enjoyable to watch ever so often. I haven't watched it in a while, though.
Yeah.
Neither have I, but for some reason, because it had to do with like stuff in the air, it kind of reminded me similarly to this just a little bit. And how much of a flounder it was at the time. So, but well, we have Valentine and Tom. Who bump into to the somewhat engineer dude. I call him engineer because he seems like he's kind of a scavenger, and they seem like they might have known each other or recognized each other, and he doesn't want to deal with them at all. He's got his own agenda, so to speak, because he's been trying to get into the cathedral, which is surrounded by guards, and the place that Thaddeus Valentine has been sequestering all his old tech to create this weapon that he's been sequestering there and building and whatnot. He believes in this weapon of his to bring the world to its knees, you know.
But we don't realize that until later.
No.
Right.
Matter of fact,
Spoiler alert.
If you look at the bad guy at the beginning, he comes across as somebody who is much more reasonable, someone who is, trying to help those people who are hit by their scavenging of the city, trying to help them integrate into society, stepping in when they're being treated badly, and so on. Of course, he looks like a decent person. But again, I feel like this is where I do feel like probably if the directorship hadn't been a newbie director, we might have had more consistency with character. But this is part of that confusion, is that he seems like there is a nice guy there a lot of times, but then there's this flip to pure evil as we go. It's not even like, sometimes he looks like he's wanting the best, and then he's like, no, I'm evil, kill them all, character.
Now, I'll admit one part where it is kind of cool to see that mask slip is the part where he kicks Tom off the vehicle.
Well, he doesn't kick him; he pushes him off.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
After
But,
Tom saves his life too.
Yeah.
But we need to talk about why.
Yeah.
Hester Shaw, which we learn her name later. Hester Shaw has pretty much walked herself into London.
Up to this point, she has been the mysterious young woman with the face mask.
And the night that she's hidden to get past the guards.
Yeah.
And she did get past the guards.
Yes.
So she is able to walk straight up to him, to Thaddeus, and stick a knife in his gut.
Yep, shanked him.
She basically did shank him and call him out and call him a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course Tom gets in the way because he's all hero worshiping Thaddeus at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And because he stops her from entirely killing him off, she runs off, and Tom is quickly running off in her stead. But he does not realize the danger in which is following him behind, because the world is erupting and destroying itself around him while he is trying to catch up with her. And when he actually does, she apparently is trying to jump through what looks like a black hole type thing. And she basically tells him, mention this name to dude, and she basically knocks his hands out, and she falls into the whatever it is that's sucking everything out. And he meets up with Thaddeus, and he mentions that she was mentioning some crazy stuff, and Thaddeus is all 20 questions, and he mentions the name that she mentioned, and he's like, that's too bad that you had to hear that, and then he just pushes him out.
Mm-hmm.
And What did y'all think about that?
I thought for sure they were both dead.
Well, you know,
That
not
would
even
have been
trying
quite
to
a
be-
drop, you know.
It would have been a short movie.
not even trying to be diplomatic about it or trying to talk his way through, which wouldn't have been hard, but I guess the idea is like, kill was far more in his mind.
Well, I think it was more, okay, well, this guy is obviously a witness. This is inconvenient for me. No one's around. I can solve the problem.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't really know either at this time that Thaddeus really was, you know, if you get in my way, you're gone.
Well, he was thinking that nature would take care of its own,
Yeah.
and that he would, in fact, die.
Yeah. And also, if that was the exit chute, he may not have been trying to just kill him. He may have just been saying, "Okay, you're out of London." May have been more exile than murder, but
And he chalked it up to him falling over while the rail broke to his daughter,
which is not fully a lie.
No, but it is a white lie. So
yeah.
But even she is questioning it because she saw someone else had seen what went on, and it just so happens to be that that other scavenger that she had run into with before. So she ended up tracking him down, and he ended up telling her, "Hey, your daddy isn't as good a daddy as you think he is." But that's a little bit later. This is where we pick up on what happened to Tom, and afterwards, because it seems like our Hester Shaw has taken a liking to, taken a disliking to him, and she's at first definitely mean to him. We see her stealing his money and scavenging shit from his body, and just trying to walk away. And you get to see a little bit about how he is exactly that, a city boy, because he's not too happy about being down there in the muck and the yuck. What do y'all think about Hester and Tom as they walk together through that wasteland?
As they walk through the desert on a horse with no name. I mean, it's your typical exposition time. Give you a little bit more world building. A typical thing. He comes across as that fish out of water, and she's the one who is trying to inform him of the way of the world as we go. And that's pretty much how it is up until after you leave the slavery city.
Once you realize that Kansas isn't Kansas anymore.
Man, don't go south. Never go south.
I mean, he's a born and bred Londoner. He has been raised on the Kool-Aid, and he had some. He's definitely capable of critical thought, and he's definitely capable of looking at a situation and learning from it, which not everyone would be in his position. But he definitely grew up in a very different life experience than she had. So,
yep,
yes, this is definitely
because it's fairly soon after that there are some machines that begin to look for them.
Yeah.
Which I forget exactly what they called them.
Well, she calls them salvies. She said you never go south in the wasteland, basically. And it's his instinct is, oh, humans! I will try to get us saved. It's just like, dipshit.
Yeah.
I paraphrase, but yeah.
Well, and so they go north, and they are still being chased by these Southies. It's rather dark, and then suddenly she disappears, and then he gets sucked below, and he meets an elderly couple who seem to be running this machine that's underground, and little do they know that they are now held captive prisoners in this caterpillar-like machine.
He is offered a beverage, and then he takes a drink, and he's like, "Oh, it's not bad." Oh yes, we cleaned out the water from the sewage. He's like,
And
no, that's what she said. She said it was algae that we scraped.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like that which in Waterworld, in the very beginning of Waterworld, where he pisses in this machine and it comes out water. But in any case, so
we did see that earlier. Like Hester scraped out some muddy water to drink.
Yeah.
And it's like, ew, like he's getting all gross.
Weirded out.
She's like, you could drink your own urine.
Right?
Yeah.
As you do.
As you do. Yeah.
But in any case, we have then they are put in, and it kind of reminds me of like in a train, the compartments.
Yeah.
Because they walk down and there are different compartments that apparently they put people in and they lock them. And now Hester was actually hurt by one of the things that the Southies had actually been shooting at them.
Yeah.
So she is in fact injured, and in fact the lady had mentioned that that's going to leave a scar. Of course, you're kind of used to those, aren't you? Because her face is actually scarred.
Yeah.
But she tries to tell Tom to leave her, and gives him his money back, and tells him to go on his merry way, and tells him that there's a town not too far from here, but he doesn't want to leave her. So they are in fact taken to a town that it looks like they take slaves to auction them off.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess this is the first time that you actually see a place that is actually grounded on land.
Right. Well, we have heard that there's a couple of factions in the world. I think what were they? Tractionists and anti-tractionists, I think. And,
Correct.
The tractionists are all about these mobile cities, and the anti-tractionists are anti.
Yep. I did like the slaver's costume.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I liked the buttons, just like all of the because his sports coat was entirely made of buttons, and I thought that was great.
Right.
Yeah, I give them credit for actually coming up with some ingenuous costumes for each of the different types of peoples. You know, that they come across. So to me, that goes along with some of the world building, giving them uh, their own type of outfit.
I was waiting for them to start talking about the need for gasoline.
Of course, this is also an introduction to a character who has a pretty distinct look. We had seen video of Anna Fine being told that she is this very dangerous anti-attractionist and very heavily wanted by the authorities. But she ends up showing up to bid on Hester.
Well, yeah, it's like, well, why don't you pay, instead of the bed that you gave me?
Yeah.
Why don't you give me that bounty that essentially you have?
Well, first of all, like, he's got these little pissant bids, and she speaks up from the back 50, I think it was.
15.
No, well, whatever it was. No, I think she said 50.
It was substantially higher than what
It was
the rest
substantially higher. And he calls her forward, and he's like, now, the problem with that is your bounty is this much. So why would I want what you're offering? And it's like, I can't remember exactly her response, but it seemed appropriate.
Yes, it did.
Oh, she blew his head off.
Yeah,
literally.
basically.
Yep. And then all of his minions seem to come towards and try to defend his honor or whatnot. But she ultimately.
I think they were trying to get that bounty.
They're trying to get that bounty. I don't think honor had anything to do with it.
Well, yeah, and then it was any man for himself.
Right.
But she ultimately helped with Hester's escape, and Hester ultimately helped Tom escape, which she could have left him to his own demise. But I think by now she'd actually kind of bonded with him, because she did kind of tell a little bit of her story while they were
Her sad story.
her sad story.
Yeah,
But she hadn't quite told. She hadn't quite told the story of Schreiber yet.
no. Or
But
the story of Shrike.
Or yeah, which reminds me, around this time is where we actually hear of a creature that keeps shouting her name that has been captured. And this has been the news of this has reached Thaddeus Ballantyne's ears, so he goes and takes a ship and goes to the prison in which this creature is being kept, and he speaks to it, and the creature then does speak to him, and I think one of the main questions that he asks is, what would you do if you found Hester? What would you do to her once you found her? And he said that it said that it would kill her.
I really
I
like.
believe this is the part where we found out that she had made a promise and broken it, and that was why what set him off, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
He also said that he would make her do what she had promised, or kill her, you know. So Thaddeus, in his mind, thought, hey, this is great. This will take care of two birds with one stone, you know. So he took his men and he just completely destroyed the prison, which.
I was surprised he destroyed the whole prison. I thought he was just gonna like somehow get him out.
You would think, but
I think
I
that
guess-
might have fallen under that category of
Let's make it
his
look good.
evil tendencies coming through.
yeah,
Well-
he's I'm evil. I got to do evil things.
Let's make it look good. You know, something happened at the prison, the whole thing blew up, type of thing. You know.
Mm.
You know.
Yep. So Schreiber escapes from that, and Schreiber ends up showing up at that fight that is happening at the bounty station. You know, the auction auction block, and she sees him, and she's like, "Oh shit, let's get the fuck out of here." So I believe it's Anna who comes with her ship and ferrets them out. And there's a moment where they're going to where Anna doesn't really give a shit about Tom, but Hester seems to want to have him along. So she helps Tom and gives him the knife in order to get Schreiber off the rope. And
Yeah, that was quite a catch of that knife.
Yeah,
yeah, that was quite a catch.
that could have gone differently.
Yes, it could have. So he cuts the rope, and they end up being ferreted away, and that's when they kind of sort of have a conversation with Anna, which Tom thinks he's going to take care of business, and she's like, "So what are you going to take care of?" "Oh, don't worry, I'm just fucking with you." You know.
well, it's interesting. It's interesting to see them actually finally forming their little group.
Mm-hmm.
And of
Well,
course,
yeah.
the other one is from a different civilization that's there, because there's different terrestrial ones and the ones that just move around, and I'm sure lots more than what they originally show, of course.
And one thing that is mentioned, I think earlier on, that comes into play from here on, is that Tom at one point tells Hester that he had not intended to work in a museum. He had intended to be an aviator.
Yep.
And Anna actually gives him a chance to kind of wet his beak, if you will. She actually ends up letting him fly back into their what they call it, Arrow Haven or something like that. Their floating.
Think so, because it's like this hot air balloon blimp
Right.
that has like a ton of docking areas for hot air balloon type aircrafts.
It's sort of a port city in the sky, basically.
Yeah.
And so he gets kind of a taste for the aviation life a little bit. And actually, I've been thinking about this, and we mentioned earlier, or I mentioned earlier, I think piggybacking off what Dave said, this probably would make a really good anime. But I feel like this part of it in particular, the whole aviation angle that they go into, I can't help but wondering if this author was heavily influenced by Studio Ghibli, because I feel like everything about this feels it could have been a Miyazaki story.
Well, I mean, I do feel like Nausicaa was a good follow-up to it.
Right, right.
One now, oddly enough, that like single rider blimp or whatever the heck they are, that one does remind me a lot of of Cowboy Bebop,
Yeah.
of his little rider.
Oh yeah. I mean the planes, the individual planes they have are a little more old school than the Bebop, but I could see a little bit of that, especially, I mean, Honest Look definitely feels like it would not be out of place in that series.
Well, technically, this world could be a world in that series. It's just a little less.
Yeah. Yeah, because Earth was in pretty rough straits there too. But
Okay, so they get to this Arrow Haven in the sky, but they are also followed by Schreiber because Schreiber evidently takes a blimp to get there too, and follows them. But before they do that, they are then brought into a place to sit down, and then are crowded in by a group of pilots that apparently are trying to figure out exactly what Thaddeus Valentine had taken from her mother. Because they know that there was something that was taken from her. They don't know exactly what.
That was an interesting scene, that flashback, because that's another one. Of course, sort of, he was going into this, and suddenly, she obviously is fearful of him getting it, and I don't know what basis she has on it, but in a way, it should be chaotic, because the only person that the only narrator we have who's seen it was somebody who was a child at the time, so it makes sense that would be a little bit disjointed or odd. Because all we know is, like, she really doesn't think that he should have this, and then he straight up kills her, burns the place down, and potentially plans to kill her. We don't know whether he was or not, but judging on the past actions of this guy, probably. Even knowing what I know in the future of his relationship to her, it doesn't mean necessarily that he wasn't going to plan to kill her.
I don't think that there needed to be any red flags for Hester's mother, Pandora, I think it was. I don't think there needed to be any red flag for her to say, yeah, you should not be interested in this, and you should be wanting to destroy it as well. His reaction was excessive.
Yeah.
It was yeah. He did go kind of super villain on her. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. So ultimately, she knew that there was some kind of hardware that was taken from her mom, and she couldn't remember exactly what they might need from her or about her. What she didn't know is that Schreiber had actually, when he had, and this is something that we learned like a little bit later than this, that after her mom had died and she had escaped, it was this Schreiber that had actually come across her, and in a sense, it's almost like Schreiber was then became her parent, because she grew up under his care. And I think when he met her, he took that necklace from her and kept it for her from her mother. Because I feel like when he gave her the necklace, and after he realized that, you know when he was about to attack her and attack Tom, that it stopped and realized that she was actually in love. So her broken heart was now mended. And one of the things that was mentioned in his in his backstory, was the fact that he would pick up everything that was broken and then repair it. And she was one of those broken things.
Right. And he said something like when they made their promise, when she made her promise, there was like the line of, you're going to kill me? And he's like, yes, but only for a little while, or something like that, Like basically the idea was that he was trying to fix her by, I guess, rebooting her, you might say.
Yep, that would be about right.
Yeah. And well, it's one way to do it, I guess.
Yep,
But
that's
yeah,
one way.
but yeah, I guess Shrike eventually realized that she didn't really need a reboot after all.
Well, and one of the things that I thought that was interesting is that she even thinks that Schreiber, at one point in time, had actually been human and had a child.
Well, that's the picture that she finds, and in a way, there's not much. There's a lot of indications that these are like cyborgs that were made, and I mean, when they talk about it when he's in the jail, it was like one of these few surviving weapons of war, basically, that humanity had and used, and well, one of the few that are still around. So yeah, he of course also offers to make her like him. So yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
I feel like that was his way of trying to fix that which was broken so that she would never be able to feel anything again. Because in its mind, emotions are not needed, and she would probably be more the better for it, and then it would not be as alone as it is as well. But that is not what happened, and I almost feel kind of bad for Schreiber, because once he realized that she was fixed, he was no longer needed, and then that in essence then was his death, because then his function was no longer he was no longer able to function. What do y'all think about that being his ending, his downfall?
I'm not sure what killed him in the end. I guess he just gave up and died, but
Right.
It seemed like something short circuited him or something. Because something like when there was something in his shoulder, like by like a patch looking thing.
his
And-
heart grew 5 times that size that day. And died.
At first I thought-
Okay, so he had a Grinch-like death.
Well,
Yeah.
at first I thought he got shot by something, but there was nobody around and there was nobody shooting at him because it was the camera focused in on this patch like area on his shoulder, and then that's when all of a sudden he you know, start acting different, you know.
I'll
Yeah.
assume
And
that
then
it's something explained in the books that we never got to.
Maybe the camera was saying that he lost the chip on his shoulder. But
Well, in any case, the Arrow Haven in the sky was then blown to smithereens, and
Wolverines.
kind of like fell from the sky while the rest of the pilots escaped to as they headed to uh what was it that they ended up going to? Show when or show something?
Shogal, I think it was. Shogal.
Shogao, which apparently this is where Anna is from, and the rest of these guys who are kind of like the anti rebels, you know.
Well,
Uh,
it's also a non-mobile city that's behind a very formidable wall, and it's
which the wall kind of looks like the Great Wall of China,
innocent.
almost. Uh,
This is Thaddeus's target.
Yeah, but when they come up to it, it looks like something similar to like the Great Wall of China, except there are a lot of docking ports underneath the bridge, you know, and there are a slew of guns and cannons on top,
Mm-hmm.
which come into play a little bit later, but the weapon in which Thaddeus has created seems to be somewhat of a matter rearranger as well as like an energy beam that destroys things once it's set in motion. You know,
What did they call it specifically?
a nuclear
Well,
something or other.
I think it was a was it a fusion device or something?
Something to that effect. I forget exactly the scientific name for what they called it. But all we know is that there was a core and a reactor, and that they took something from the school of Star Wars. Eventually, because that's what Tom did. He took his ship inside the gate and destroyed the nucleus of the fucking thing. So it was almost like the Death Star of the whole fucking thing.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, this time it was just the engine, but just caused it to stop, not blow up. But that's because he didn't want to blow up London, which I understand. All my stuff is there. And all of his friends are there too. So
Right.
damn.
Well, there was that discussion of there's a lot of innocent people. It's the it's not all supervillains. Most of them are ordinary blokes.
And Hester realizes something when she's at the place. There's a mural or a thing cut into the stone of like a Medusa looking like character, and in the middle of the forehead is the shape of the necklace that Schreiber had given her and said that it was from her mom. And so she looks on the inside of that thing, and there was something that Tom mentioned earlier that there was a key to shutting it down, but as far as he knows, it was destroyed.
I think he called it a crash drive. But yeah,
Yeah.
basically the necklace from her mother was a locket, and that was contained inside. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
But she didn't know that until she opened it and realized, oh my God, I have the key.
Yeah.
So they then took it to Anna, and Anna was like, "Well, let's get this shit done."
Mhm.
But and she's like, there's no going back, right?
Mhm.
So
Well, I mean, when she said what she said, I was like, "Yep, I guess she's dead." Moving on.
Yeah.
That's sort of like that in the horror movie saying, "I'll be right back." Yeah, it's just going to happen.
well, and they take a group of fighter pilots, which I actually thought that first group of like airplanes moving across the sky in that formation. I thought that was pretty cool. The way that it was going over the bridge and towards the thing, but I think all of those pilots were destroyed when the weapon shot that way. I think because you didn't see them anymore after that.
The big fleet, yeah, they were gone.
Yeah, because at first I was like, well, maybe those guys made it, and then I didn't see them anymore after that, and you didn't see any craft like fall down or anything. You just didn't see them at all, and I was like, okay, what the hell happened to those guys?
Well, same thing that happened to a big chunk of the wall.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So the last group of these fighters went with them to basically uh, help destroy all of the guns on the London ship or the London machine, because there was a full arsenal of cannons and firepower on the London machine that they had to destroy, and some of them kamikazed themselves into them, and
I think
some of them were destroyed, but it looks like they actually ended up destroying all of them by the time they landed the sucker in order to get on the inside. And Anna, well, it appears that she knew that she was not coming back from this. But I think she died well.
yeah.
She ultimately ended up going up against Thaddeus Valentine and gave him a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
But he ended up shanking her and holding her up before all the sequences had been put in, because evidently when
She
she
shanked
put
him too, didn't she?
yeah, she shanked him too, but he's been shanked several times and the guy's still living.
Yeah.
I do
So
find it interesting. We go right to the whole like, oh well, it always has to wait until the last second of the countdown before they,
Yeah.
before they get the sequence in there.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that that took a little bit of a moment, a little bit too long to be fair and honest. I almost although it's like that last fist pump of pump of life that you see in people.
To be fair, we are talking very old technology.
True.
Yeah.
But she punched the numbers in, and the lights turned green, and Anna was able to say her last line before she died. So, but we have Hester, who ends up having the final face off with her father, and well, okay, I I should probably back up because we didn't learn that that he was her father until that
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
moment.
there's that whole Darth Vader moment. I am your father.
Yeah.
You know.
It is kind of implied, but yeah.
Yeah, it's implied throughout the whole thing, but we really do get a kind of a flashback back of Thaddeus and her mom, like in a romance of some sort. So it's just, you know, he'd gone over to the dark side.
Mhm.
Definitely way earlier when he took the machine from her from her mom, which at first I didn't realize that was her mother's name, Pandora.
Yeah.
I was thinking like it was some sort of place that they were going to, but when Anna said earlier
It's
for
like a laser
Pandora,
station, Pandora.
that's when I realized it was her mother.
Let's see.
But so I do like the fact that she pulls the knife out on him, and he's like, "Oh, this is where you're gonna go. You want to die?" And she's like, "No, in fact, I'm going to live." And jumps off the thing onto to the red ship, and uh, I guess they torpedo his ship, and his ship goes down, and he gets steamrolled by I think the London steamroller,
Hmm.
and I guess you see them two flying off into the sunset, and that's pretty much it. I think, right?
Yeah.
So, is there anything that anyone wanted to mention that I haven't mentioned?
We should mention, apropos of nothing, that the mad scientist, if you will, that's helping uh, it's helping Thaddeus with the machine is named Dr. Twix, which I found very amusing. A lot
um,
of these characters.
also, also that earlier general had actually come in and realized that that something was going on in the cathedral, and um I thought it was interesting how he was like barking all kinds of orders, like stand down, and then when he realized no one was following his orders,
Mhm.
that oh god, I'm fucked moment. I thought that was amusing. But other than that, did anyone else have? I mean, I did enjoy meeting the leader of the show and or the show place. I thought he was like an interesting dude for a moment because I think after like the London thing was destroyed, Thaddeus's other daughter, was leading the other the survivors of London up to meet the other people. I think that was something that I forgot to mention, that those guys were meeting up
Yeah.
with the other faction.
Mhm.
Other than that, nothing else.
Well, I mean, I do stand by my suggestion that Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind is a good follow-up movie for this one.
Right.
Okay. I guess let's talk about production overall. What did y'all think about production? Tammy, we haven't heard from you in a little bit. What did you think about production overall?
I thought it was pretty decent. I mean, it was quite an imagination with all the way all the different machines looked and worked and everything, and the whole idea of each machine was like a city, you know, and you know to incorporate that into one thing, and then this thing is moving, you know. I thought it was pretty, you know, quite an imagination, and I mean, it looked good. I mean, the way the machines got around, the way they worked, you know, and then how they utilized, I guess what you want to call waste to fuel them and everything, and how they would break things down. You know, we might have mentioned before on the costumes. I think they were good because if this is supposed to be like a thousand years into the future, usually every time we see a movie like this is like after you know apocalypse or whatever. You know, everybody dresses different. You know, it's kind of like whatever they can hide for clothes, and you know, so like not everybody was wearing the same thing. I mean, the people in the museum kind of had a uniform. You know, they had
Yeah.
those shirts.
Yeah.
But
There was actually definitely an alternative version of a lot of London fashion, London Guard uniforms, things like that.
right, and you know, and it seemed like what you see a lot of is the pants with like the boots, or at least the leather wrappings on the bottoms of the legs and the boots.
Yep.
We see that a lot. So yep. I thought it was pretty cool.
Okay. Anyone else?
I mean, I think that I know we discussed the budget and all that stuff, and most of that budget went into effects, and darned if they weren't quite amazing. I don't. If there was, I mean, there's some bad things that can be said about this film, but effects is not one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Visuals were definitely impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think the visuals were impressive, and even the parts where I would almost say were done in front of a green screen, it still looked pretty damn impressive. You know, some of it you can almost tell is like right behind them, but or whatnot. But that's the magic of putting these things together. You're not supposed to notice, you know.
Well, yeah, okay. So I thought so. I was just double checking. So this was a Weta production, right? Weta
Yeah.
Workshop. So Weta definitely they know their stuff when it comes to visuals and other similar things. There's no doubt about that.
That's one of the reasons why the Lord of the Rings movies still stand up to this day when it comes to visuals.
Right.
I mean, they're going to stand up for acting and story regardless, because the story itself always stood up quality-wise. But the effects definitely, even with all the advances that have come, you look at those films and you're not like, man, this film is over 30 years old. You know, you don't think that when you watch it. God, that's makes me feel old.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What about music?
Well, we got music by who do we have music by? Tom Hulkenborg.
And what are some of the things that he's done?
I don't know. I thought the music was good. I don't think it really called a lot of attention to itself. I feel like it did what it needed to.
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
I think it was serviceable.
Mm-hmm.
The more
It was definitely music.
Yeah.
And it definitely fit what was needed.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to say about that.
okay. What about you, Tammy? Did you notice the music at all?
No, not really. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't really looking at the music per se myself. Tom Hokenberg
Yeah.
was the composer. So, see, what else did he do or was known for? Okay, he did Mad Max Fury Road,
Yeah.
Deadpool, Zack Snyder's Justice League,
Yeah.
Batman versus Superman, Sonic the Hedgehog 3,
Oh.
Furiosa,
Yeah. So
Rebel,
a lot of the relatively high budget films of the last few years. Yeah.
Godzilla X Kong, Skull and Bones, the video game.
Yeah.
Still have to watch some of that, the Love, Death, and Robots series.
Yeah, it's been on my list of on Netflix for a while, but I got so many other things.
Yeah. Alright.
Oh, the last Terminator.
Mhm.
But in any case, so he knows his stuff. Oh, and he did the composing music to the last Tomb Raider,
Mhm.
which was a little bit before this movie.
Yep.
So, other than that, oh, and he did he did the music for that your favorite Stephen King movie, Brandon, The Dark Tower.
Well, I have not even. It's weird. As much as I love the story, I have never seen the film, and actually, I think it's because I love the story so much that I have never seen the film.
Talk about your potential franchise starters that were DOA for a lot of people.
But in any case,
It's-
going into favorite scenes and our favorite characters. Let's start with you, Tammy.
My favorite character is Tom. Because he tries so hard with everything, and he's trying to help her, and then Esther, and then he basically got thrown into this whole thing, and then he turns everything around to trying to help her and help solve this and help keep her alive and keep her away from that what do you call it, that robot like dude, um
Schreiber.
Schreiber, yeah.
right.
Shrive.
Shrive.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
So yeah, I like him, you know. He's he's like a kind of like a do-gooder, but a do-gooder that really wants to get everything right, and but yet he's a little bit accident prone, maybe you might want to say.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, but that he doesn't stop, he doesn't give up,
Mhm.
and
Never give up, never surrender.
Yeah, he puts his foot in his mouth a lot. But yeah.
My favorite scene is the what you call the Star Wars scene, and it's also a scene I think similar to one that's in Men in Black also. Um, Only he doesn't die, and
Right.
he goes in, and when he goes in the London, and you know he disables it, but the whole thing of him going in there and the way he's flying that thing, and and he's just zipping her out of there, and he does it, and he's zipping her out and get out, and everything's, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. So to me, that's my favorite scene.
Okay. What about you, Brandon?
Um, well, Well, I mean, as far as scenes are concerned, I did like that scene at the beginning where you have the chase with the with the city of London going after that little town. I thought that was pretty cool with the mobile city. With my favorite character being, well, the machine that went rogue, the cyborg guy. Because to me, out of all of it, that's the machine that went rogue over all of them. Because he definitely didn't do what he was programmed to do. Matter of fact, he went totally rogue when he actually followed his heart. Totally rogue against his masters, who only designed him to kill.
Right. So, Jake, what did you?
Well, I will go ahead real quick. I want to follow up that something I had meant to say under production, and I kind of skipped it. But I'll say one of my criticisms of the movie is this movie did the same thing, unfortunately, that the Harry Potter movies did, which is they got a great actor for a particular role and squandered said actor. There are not a lot of actors of major note in this movie. Hugo Weaving being one of the major exceptions. I think they spent all the budget on the production and didn't have much left over for actors. But Stephen Lang is a great character actor, and he could have probably made Shrike an even more interesting character, but I feel like he was so buried underneath CG and audio distortions and everything. You could have literally had almost anyone in that role, and it just feels like a cheat. It feels like if you're going to have Stephen Lang, use him. And I felt very disappointed. I think they did good with Shrike. It's just, again, if you're going to have Stephen Lang in that role, use him. And I don't think they really did. And I was very disappointed about that. I just wanted to say that. As far as favorites, I kind of like, I'm not sure who my favorite is. I don't have like a clear, I like Tom and he's easy to root for, but he's also frustrating at times. Hester's extraordinarily frustrating at first, but you come to like her. Anna was a cold fish at first, but I really liked her by the end. I don't know, any one of them could be. And even Thaddeus, I like Hugo Weaving a lot as an actor. And he's always fun to watch. And even though the character is evil. So I don't know if I have a clear favorite character. But I do have a clear favorite moment. And that is when they talk about the ancient American gods and they're looking at the minions. Although I will admit the scene of the city chasing the other city at the beginning was really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I like Tom as an actor, but I have to agree with Brandon that my favorite character was Shrive. Partially due to the fact of his backstory that he was kind of, Hester's parent in a sense. he took her in when she was broken and had her kind of learn how to fix things with him. And although she had her own agenda, I feel like the whole reason why he wanted her to keep her promise is he thought she was still broken, and but I also get a kick out of the fact that they both ate 1,000-year-old Twinkie. Um, I do get a kick out of the fact that that fucking minions were the ancient gods, in the
Right.
museum. So I get a kick out
Oh,
of
they
that. Um, um, and I do like like that beginning when the whole city of London like was trying to eat the other city. Um, so to me, there were all kinds of rogue factions going on here. So and all of it dealing with machines, whether they were controlled by people or just were rogue machines going off on their own. It was a world full of machines. So, to me, this was a perfect movie for the kind of examples that we wanted on display here for this theme. So, um, I also like a few other scenes, but I think that, for the most part, I pretty much said my say. Um, so other than that, did anyone else have anything else to add?
Well, next week, but I'll wait till that's there.
Oh, next week. What's happening next week?
Our next movie, which is Metropolis, which is the anime adaptation of the manga by Tezuka, who is known in many circles as one of the true fathers of anime, and creator of a little series that most people have never heard about called Astro Boy. Though he had nothing to do with this particular movie, it was definitely done in his style and based on his work. So that will be a very interesting one. And this time, the machines going rogue are not under the control of humans.
I wonder if Steam Boy falls under this kind of movie category.
I don't remember if the machines went rogue in that or not. I don't think they did.
No, I don't think they did either. But
whenever I think machines going rogue, as like they were made by humans, but they turned on humans.
Yeah.
And because you could say any war movie at all, you could say if it's just machines being used by humans to kill. Any World War II movie could be machines gone rogue because tanks are machines.
Well, we've already done a couple. We've done a couple that fit, and like I mentioned this theme, and someone immediately said 2001. I was like, "Yep," and we've
2001 definitely.
But like we did the first Terminator, right?
Yep. Yeah, Terminator 2 easily.
This would have been a good opportunity to do T2. Yeah.
There are a lot of them.
Well, when I brought this up, the first movie I thought of was Maximum Overdrive, which is what I picked, because there were so many different machines in it.
Indeed.
And that's kind of where for some reason, I was thinking I would like to see that movie, and then when you told me to pick a thing, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, this kind of, okay. So,
hey, sometimes you work a theme around a movie. It's just like sometimes you see a month and you think, ooh, the theme name would fit perfect for this month.
Actually, another one that would have worked perfectly, although Dave would probably throw a fit because it's a sequel. Uh, Avengers: Age of Ultron technically would have been a good choice.
That would have definitely been in there.
I was almost thinking like the day the Earth stood still.
Yeah.
It has been too long since I've seen that movie. Wasn't it Aliens? Well, they had a robot, but it was an alien robot. But then
There was an old black and white one, and then there was the reboot that was
the
with Keanu Reeves.
Reeves. Yeah,
Oh,
I try to
that's
forget
right,
that
he
one.
did do that. I forgot about that. And then, speaking of Keanu Reeves, have we covered The Matrix on this?
We have not.
Oh, that's definitely a machine's gone rogue.
That definitely would have worked, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely could have, but for some reason, this is the first one that I thought of.
Like I
And
said,
I think I thought of it because of Shrive.
to me, I could see using that character for a machine that went rogue because it went against its programming, and it wasn't said that they have to be against humanity necessarily.
True.
They had to go rogue, so against their programming. But
Technically, we could have done Wally.
I like
shoot.
Wally.
Yeah, I almost I almost did Killdozer, which would have been a great companion to Maximum Overdrive.
Another one I thought of was called Hardware.
Hardware is a good one for that. Yeah, that was a messed up one right there. But yeah,
Or
done Wally though, because Wally's too cute, and that's not what I had in mind.
but technically, Wally did go against his programming.
He did. Yes.
I know, but he's too cute. That's not what I had in mind.
You could have had many ones.
We need to cover that one day. And,
There's the brave little toaster.
yeah, didn't we do that one?
Johnny Five.
Actually, yes, Johnny Five. Short Circuit would have definitely been a good one because they were hunting him down. Let's see here. No, we haven't done the brave little toaster.
No, we can't do cute.
Oh, wait, no, we did. We did do the brave little toaster.
We can't do cute machines going rogue because they're cute.
Good times.
Or Cyborg would be. Well, actually, no. Cyborg would not, because the Cyborg was actually, in all essence, doing exactly what they were supposed to do. It was the humans that were going rogue.
Yeah.
And that one.
Wasn't there a movie in the 90s, Tammy, called The Machine and the Soul, or The Soul and the Machine, or
Oh. For some reason that sounds familiar.
it was a movie where a machine was basically traveled, got itself inside a human.
Well, there's also the DV movies from Evan Jacobs, or even my own film that I directed called Amityville Webcam.
I can't
had
think
an
of the
evil
name of
webcam.
it, David. It just sounds like there was something there, but I just can't think of it. You know.
So I think the point of the whole is that we could revisit this subject again in the future if we wanted to. I think there's a lot of machines that can go rogue, and you never know. Better watch your toaster.
Alrighty. Well, in any case, hopefully you ladies and gentlemen have enjoyed our discussion with this film. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll definitely be back with you next week with something different. But if you haven't seen this movie, go out and see it. I know you can see it on YouTube free, with or without ads. And Definitely don't think that this isn't a bad is a bad movie, because it's not a great movie, but it's not a bad movie. Let's just put it that way. But let us know down in the comments what you thought of our discussion, what you thought of the movie, and I guess uh, we'll let you know what we think, and if you comment, we'll comment back. So, in any
And if
case,
and if you live in Wisconsin, everybody, I hope you have a warm place to go, because it's 1 degrees with -15 wind chill. You got to get
yep.
colder.
Wow.
And
It's here.
I'm about to go hibernate for the night. So,
It is cold here, but it is not that cold, thankfully.
Yeah, we had our heat go out this weekend. So yeah.
I spent 2 hours outside today at dusk. It was very cold, but
It's going to be colder this weekend, they said.
oh man.
Oh my.
yeah, it's gonna be in the negatives.
Oof.
Reminds me of how things were when I was growing up.
Alrighty, everyone, say good night.
Good night.
night.
Inside movies galore, just makes you just want more. We've had all in the world of media to explore. Horror, anime, or Curious George. Our love of new things was our reward. It is the best night of our week.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.